So, good evening, Mags, and welcome to our new podcast, NUSS About That, the show that brings you the latest Newcastle chat, the big talking points, and a healthy dose of chaos from your favourite misfits. Speaking of which, we're going to introduce those straight off the bat. So, tonight with us, we've got Will Del Mar,
Good evening.
Greg Wood,
Evening, folks. How are we?
Marcus Wood,
I'll read.
and last but certainly not least, Blaine Murphy.
How are we doing?
Yes.
So, lads, straight in about it. Last night, Leeds, Newcastle, 4-3 thriller. Harvey Barnes scoring the latest recorded goal in the Premier League history. What is our thoughts? What is our heart rates like? How are we feeling about last night? Greg, I'm going to bring you in.
I don't think my heart rate's stopped yet. It says when you saw that 10 minutes injury time, you just the way the game was, the fact it was so end to end, it could have swung any way. So it was heart and mouth for that last 10 minutes, just knowing that there's going to be another goal. Hopefully for us, obviously, but it just could have went anyway. And I think we needed to have that chance to take the lead for once and not chase the game. And yeah, it was just you could see the goal was coming. You could see another goal was going to happen in that 10 minutes. So I'm just glad that we got it for us. And it was a well worked goal, to be honest with you. Well finished goal. And yeah, it was fantastic. The passage play even before building up to it was fantastic. And then getting, obviously, the goal in the end, Harvey Barnes again. He delivers.
What can you say?
Yeah, he delivers when we need to. When he needs to, right?
Marcus, did you see it coming?
Yeah, I think it was as soon as they made the substitutions, you could tell that as soon as they were just punting the ball out of the box, sitting deep, just trying to defend the box. And just wave after wave, you could see they were just getting a bit more and more frazzled, trying to park the bus, anything that came out the box, just trying to clear it as far as they could. And it was just wave after wave. I know that they had the scramble in the box where it hit the post, keeper, corner flag. I think everyone, Rose Ed, it was everyone that got hit. It was all one direction for the last 10, 15 minutes.
Blaine, I think that's the first time we've come from behind this season, actually, in a losing position and got some points from it, right? What was your take on it?
Yeah.
It was absolute manic. But what I think it did show is it showed that actually having a good bench and like a fit bench with good players and squad depth that we've got definitely paid off. Being able to bring on boys like Wisa, Ramsey, you've got an injury, you're bringing on Botman. We've never been in a position like that before. So it was actually a perfect opportunity. I had a sneaky feeling. I messaged some of the guys last night saying that I expected a winner. Got the goal scorer wrong, to be fair. I was hoping Jacob Ramsey was going to be the one, but it was a horrible game, but absolutely phenomenal at the exact same time. Just glad it was us that scored the winner.
Absolutely.
Nice to be on the right side of it.
Blaine mentions bringing on Botman there. Obviously, Fabian Schär took a bit of a knock last night. Contract situation as well. Do you think we'll see Fabian Schär in the black and white shirt again?
I think so. I think he'd be too good to to let go just now, even if he is just a backup or a stand-in. But for him to go off the way he did, unfortunately, I literally just came back from a pee break at that point when he was going off, and Mrs. went, "Oh, someone's just getting stretchered off," and I'm like, "For God's sake, what typical? I go and miss something, you know." But like the other lads said, it was a frantic watch and not good for the blood pressure. Certainly near the end, but yeah, I'd like to see him still at Newcastle next season. And like Blaine had said, a few of us were obviously chatting last night, and I was getting all hot and bothered with the fact that we were up there, sort of a couple of places up, then we were a couple of places back down the table, then obviously we're fighting back up to get that winner to get us back up to sixth on the table. So it made for a good watch, but not so much for the blood pressure, I think.
It was very Keegan-esque, and speaking of which, obviously NUSS sending lots of love and prayers and good wishes to King Kev himself, but it certainly took me back to the Keegan days last night, 4-3. Brian, I don't know about you.
Definitely did, and actually, Will's just made a point that I've actually probably never actually considered yet. Is if you'd asked me, was that the last time we'll see Bob Shar in a Newcastle shirt, I would have said yes, due to the fact that it looked like he'll probably not play again this season. Contract expires in the summer. But actually, see if you were able to offer him, maybe, depending how long his injury is going to be, another year option, but knowing that he's going to be that bit part player, could you buy better for small money than what you would actually pay him for a year? So actually, if he was prepared to do that, I think he'd be worth extending for a year just to see us through.
I know we're going to cover the transfer window later on with Greg, but I've certainly got a couple centre back names that I've heard kicking about today that we can add into the mixer. But I would certainly be a fan of extending Fabian Schär's contract, given what we paid for him. Is he arguably one of the best pound for pound signings that we've had? The length of service, what he puts into the team, and you hear Eddie Howe speaking about him. He's a cool, calm, collected customer on and off the pitch, and I think he adds a lot to the dressing room as well. Greg, would you look to extend Fabian Schär's contract beyond the summer?
Oh, absolutely. He's a proven player at Newcastle. He knows how to play in the squad. He knows how much that the fans love him, and he loves the fans. And he's been there for how long now? 7 years, 8 years. And how much we've bought him for? Is it 4 million we got him for?
Million.
I think it works out about $3 million.
3 million it was. 3 million it worked out to be. So, and he's been there through the hard times, so he knows what it's been like. And if he is happy to be a rotational defender, because that's what's going to happen, then yeah, I would absolutely extend his contract, because the guy can hit a free kick from anywhere. The guy can hit a ball from anywhere. And he is a solid defender. You can read the game. He's great in the box as well, and the attacking threat side as well. So, and he's versatile. I would have him in the squad.
He brings a different thing from defence as well, because he gets the ball and a bit under pressure. He's not afraid to look up and try and ping it out to Murphy or Gordon or up front, and he's got that accuracy as well.
Absolutely, and not just that, he's not scared to drive forward from the defence with the ball into the midfield, and like when he's got the ball, he'll bring the gap down from defence to attack and force their defenders to try and make a choice. Do they come to him? Do they not come to him? So he's not scared to push forward and take a shot, which is good. I think puts defences under pressure.
Speaking of Fabian Schär, then one of his previous Bundesliga buddies, Joe Linton, back in the side. Yellow card and a goal last night. Always a bricker on the coupons if you're having one. Thoughts on Joe Linton's performance last night? Well,
I think, again, speaking to some of the lads last night in the chat, it was I was a little bit nervous because he was getting a little bit erratic and almost looked like he just wanted to fight everybody, which we do like a bit of spiciness about him. Yeah, typical Big Joe back in the game and wanting to fight with the whole team. But no, he brought that strength and sort of no shit attitude to the game. He was determined. He was out to prove a point why he was back in the side. And again, from being a striker to not being a striker, and the quality he actually brings going towards goal now is just, again, one of them players that's just absolutely turned a huge corner since Eddie's obviously taken the reins. So for me, he was outstanding last night. I mean, like I said, a little bit nervous for me at the start and getting that yellow card, but brilliant performance.
Blaine, I'll come to yourself. I know there's some mixed reactions on Big Joe, as he's fondly known. What's your take on Big Joe Linton?
So I've probably been a big critic of Big Joe for the last few months, because I actually think that he's lost that kind of steeliness that he actually did have. And I would have been quite happy 2 weeks ago to let him go in January if there was a decent offer for Saudi coming in. But actually, I think the last 2 games that he's actually been in and played, he's probably been the best out of the 3 midfielders between him, Bruno and Tonali. And I think last night was a great example. The fact that he was able to drive forward, he was able to break up play. His header was outstanding. Like,
Unreal.
I got lost in the fact that there was 7 goals in that game, but the header was absolutely outstanding. So as I said, I'm quite happy enough to say, like, I would have got rid of him, but after the performance the last couple of weeks, I'd definitely want to keep him in the team and keep him in the squad.
For me, there's something in intensity, right? So one of the things that a lot of folk will speak about is maybe the lack of intensity this season. But one of the things is that can that be sustained over a long period of time? By a long period of time, I don't just mean one season. When you start thinking about qualifying for the Champions Leagues, going further into the cups, reaching finals and stuff, can that intensity be sustained all season? So is it a case that maybe Joe Linton's had a bit of a rest and come back? Do you think, Marcus? And he's had that because he's definitely passionate. He wears his heart on his sleeve. I think we need that enforcer role in the team, and I think we're a better team with him in it. But I do get that the performances haven't always been there. Marcus, would you?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I've always liked Big Joe. He just brings that element of physicality. He'll never ever back from a 50-50, stick his foot in. Like you say, he's a walking yellow card. But as soon as he's got his yellow card, he can rein it right in. You can see him, he demands that the people around him put that extra bit of effort in. I know Bruno's quite vocal around the team as well. But I think he's not afraid to get up in people's face and just say, come on, you need to do better than this. And he leads by example, just running around, getting his foot stuck in.
Somebody else that's been outstanding lately as well, Marcus.
Yeah,
Lewis Miley.
unbelievable.
Lewis Miley.
What's there to not say about the guy? I know that Kieran Trippier had done a bit of an interview saying that the world's his oyster, and you can see it. For a kid to, at the beginning of the season, it came out and said, listen, I need game time or I'm going to consider going elsewhere, and you think to yourself, Bruno, Tonali, all on form, where's he going to fit in? And he's clearly said to anyhow, listen, just put us on the pitch and I'll do a job for you. And the injuries at right back, I was a bit surprised when his name came out on the team sheet at right back. I thought, right, there's a bit of a square peg in round hole situation here, but honestly, I've been nothing but impressed. I mean, yesterday he played right back, centre mid, centre back, and he looked at home in all the positions, and then obviously he's good going forward, he's good passing. I don't think there's a place on that pitch that he can't play.
Where does he play? Where does he play when everybody's fit, buddy?
I think he has the position of Joe Linton. When Joe Linton, because he'll always pick up knocks due to the style of the game that he plays. He'll always pick up a knock. That amount of physicality, he'll get fatigue after a few games. So I reckon that he'll probably take more of a leading role, and then Joe Linton in those big physical games, because Miley's not that same kind of player. He'll just jump in. I think him and Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali will be the main three main midfielders.
Do you agree with that, Blaine?
On paper, probably, but due to form, unfortunately not. I think Tonali's actually been off the boil for had his interview over in Italy. So to be honest, I think Miley starts probably with Joe and Bruno, and I'd just drop Bruno to the 6. I actually think the last couple of games where Tonali's went off and Bruno's dropped in that 6th position, I think we've actually excelled that wee bit better. I know that Bruno's added goals to his game, which means he's still getting forward as such, but I think we're much more creative with Bruno as the 6 at the minute, which is mind-blowing, because it was only a couple of months ago that Paul Scholes says that he thinks Tonali's the best midfielder in the league, and you would have been hard to argue with that, but I think he's been off the boil. So Miley definitely starts, regardless. Christ almighty, I'd put him in goals just in order to hear him on the field at the minute. He is absolutely sensational.
The big thing for me that I noticed is he's filled out a bit as well, right? So kind of going back last year, 2 year, he was kind of slim. He's got the height, but he was kind of slim and stuff. He's filled out a bit, which has added to his physical game, I think. You know, he's actually able to bully boys off the ball and stuff like that now. He's confident. He's getting across the pitch. Well, where do you see him playing whenever he's fit? Do you think he slots in at that midfield? Do you see him more comfortable playing at the back?
I think I agree with Blaine more, to be honest. I'd like to see him more in that central role because he's always got a great pass in. I mean, he's proven to be that crosser and firing that ball across, accurate balls as well at that, for being obviously such a young player. I think he plays a great central role. I think we're maybe a little bit saturated on the wings, but I think in that central position, he's doing a job. And I think with Dan Burn and stuff being out, he's been all right in a shift at the back as well. So yeah, like I said, I agree more about the positioning of him, to be honest.
Greg, what's your takes on Miley? Does he
Miley,
tick the boxes for you?
oh, absolutely. He does. What's there not to like? He's a Newcastle boy through and through. Loves the club. He's got talent. He's got height, like you say. He's filled out a bit. He's got strength in him. You can play centre mid. He can play right back. I think he's better in centre mid because his passing is outstanding for a boy his age. Obviously, you've seen last week, 100% pass rate, right? That is, a boy his age is phenomenal. It's playing in the Premiership League against some top quality opposition. And to be able to do that, and he did it at right back as well, not his natural position. He done it there. So if you can hone in that skill in that centre mid position and have, like you say, Joelinton, Bruno, Miley, to be able to have that little quartet playing perfectly, the three of them, and then pushing forward into the forward position with a striker, maybe using the wing positions, then yeah, I think you're going to get goals out of him. You're going to get. He's a box-to-box player as well. That's the thing. He's got the energy to go from box to box without stopping. You can see he's got that little bit of Bruno in him. He goes box to box non-stop.
I've heard some comparisons to a young Stevie G.
Yeah. He is a bit. Absolutely. You can see that in him.
You know,
Real. What to forget was he was the Cellar Player of the Month, but not only was the Cellar Player of the Month, he was the NUSS Player of the Month as well, as voted by our members. So please do keep those votes coming in. This will help us dictate our Player of the Year. But brilliant to see Lewis Miley. I think I shared earlier on as well, his current value is sitting at £20 million on Transfer Market, which is the guru of getting the values out. Just kind of as we're going to move on, Greg's going to take us through transfers. Greg, do you think we'll be able to hold on to Lewis Miley during the transfer windows coming up?
Yeah, this transfer window, I'd say yes. Next transfer window, probably yes as well. I think it would be an absolute travesty if the manager, the backroom staff, the board, the directors don't actually tie him down to a long-term contract pretty soon. And I think they will, because he is going to be probably our biggest asset going forward in the next couple of years. You can see already, he's at 19 years old, his talent, that £20 million is only going to increase and increase and increase. But not only that, you want a lad like that to stay at his home club, especially if you want to have success in the future in Champions League, Premier League success. You want to win the Premier League. You want players like that who want to play for the badge. And so why not? Yeah, absolutely. So I think we will keep him. I've got no doubt other teams will come in and offer up silly offers for him. And we need to be strong and say no. Absolutely say no.
I could see him at a Man City. I could see him at a Real Madrid if he keeps on going in that vein and keeps that development up. The problem we've got to make sure is that we don't make the same mistakes as what we made with Elliot Anderson and Minty.
Correct.
Minty before he'd even kicked the ball for us. And Elliot Anderson, who was showing great signs of progression and development. And he's went on to Forest and he's been outstanding, I think most folks would agree, in a team that's maybe not performing this season so well.
I know that there's a few other players, a few other pundits on, Match of the Day and what have you, said that Elliot Anderson probably wouldn't have got the chance that he'd done to get the chance to shine at Newcastle the way he has at Nottingham Forest. But if he had gotten the chance, could you imagine Lewis Miley and Anderson on the same team?
That would be amazing.
Incredible. Speaking of, how did we get them, right? Well, it's coming up to the transfer window, my favourite time of the year. Some people love it, some people absolutely hate it. I'm in the love it camp. I love the rumours, I love all the gossip, I love the speculation is rife, and then you end up seeing here's what you could have won and here's what you actually get. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's maybe not. Greg, talk to me. What do we
Yeah.
realistically need in the transfer window?
Well, what we'll do is we'll start off with the rumours so far, because obviously that's the exciting part, isn't it? You build up coming at the end of December, or you're coming in at the end, like the summer, the start of the season. It's the rumours that would really think, oh, who are we going to get? Who are we get? And obviously, you know what it's like. Social media is out there. We are linked with pretty much everybody. They come across, but then there is a few that have got a bit more solidness to it. I think at the moment, we're back rumoured again with Larson at Wolves. I think that's another one that I think is quite a solid rumour. And also the young lad Manny at Wolves as well. It's another one that I think we're kind of have got a bit of interest in. Both attackers, both strikers up front, forward-thinking players, which I think would be good, especially young lad Manny. If we can get him cheap, develop him. Eddie's good at developing younger players. Then yeah, I think he's a good option. I've also heard a rumour about Sterling coming in. Have you seen that one, boys?
I've seen it, but
Previously
I
potentially on a loan
wouldn't
deal,
touch him with
yeah.
a barge pole.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. To me, I don't think he would fit in our squad, the type of player that he is. I do think he's got a bit of a background to him that brings a bit of
I think he's got a bit
drama.
of an ego. I think there's a bit of an ego there, isn't there?
Yeah, I wouldn't have him in the squad. And another rumour I think I've seen about is that Keys Smith from AZ. Now, I think that's a good choice. That's another midfielder that I think would fit in our midfield perfectly and would develop well. Usually what Eddie does, brings a player in, doesn't play them for the first 4, 5, 6 games, slowly integrates them, and then boom, they come out and they're brilliant. I think he'd be the type of player that would do the exact same, take him time to learn into it, step into it, and then he would hit the ground running. He looks like an absolute talent, that boy. So yeah. Any other rumours, boys, have you heard of?
Was it Matthias Manny?
Yeah, that's the one.
Another one, yeah.
At Wolves, Matthias Manny, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the young lads I was talking about. So him and Larson were the two Wolves boys.
Larson, sorry.
Yeah, Larson and Manny were the two Wolves ones that I've seen so far. And I would take both of them, to be honest with you. Even though we've got Waldemadi and Wissa, I'd still take Larson in.
I can see the Larson ship's already sailed. I think the in the summer was the chance to get him. I know that he'll be. I mean, as it looks like, Wolves will probably get relegated this season. I know he'll be available for 20, 30 million cheaper than what we were throwing around in the summer. But I can't see that one happening. I think the Keith Smith is the one that I've personally seen going around. But it's nice to be in a transfer window and thinking to yourself, especially a January transfer window where the dark days of Mike Ashley, where you think to yourself, all right, who are we selling? Nothing's coming in. That's what it is. It's refreshing to be in a situation where we're talking about these kind of players, caliber of players coming into a club.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's not only like that. We've also got to look at the exit rumours as well. Tino Livramento. That to me kind of gives me the fear. But Man City are coming in looking for him, I think, and I think he'll go. I think he will go. And if he goes, then I do think we need to replace quality with quality as well. We can't just say, all right, let's get another development in. I think we would need to actually target a quality right back player and not just think, oh, well, Miley could fit into that for just now. No, Miley's a good backup to fit into if we've got an injury. But if Tino does go, then I do think we need to invest in that quality right back. Absolutely.
The names I've heard kicking about are, well, that Ramsdale is obviously going to potentially be going back. We'll not look up to take up the option of Ramsdale, which will mean we're back in the transfer market for a goalkeeper. Will it be this window? I'm not so sure. Will that mean the James Trafford rumours will start circulating again, given his position at Man City? I would think fairly likely. But the ones I've heard kicking about are Malang Sarr, the 26-year-old centre-back that plays with Lens, and also Dejan Methily, a 19-year-old Toulouse centre-back. Both of them are left-footed. Obviously a bit more experience in Sarr than what you're getting with Methily at only 19. A lot of van probing there as well, but two from France. We've had a lot of French players come and go before. Have we had much success with the French?
There's the boy, speaking of France, there's the boy Daniel Bacola as well from Marseille as well. I think he's dipping his toes into the French market, is he?
The boy from Marseille that Will just mentioned there, I thought he absolutely ran the show against us. That was a young, 18 or 19-year-old that just played his first game, and he absolutely bossed Bruno and Tonali. So
I
all
bullied
for
them.
that.
Absolutely bullied them.
Aye. To be honest,
There was a lot of controversy that night actually, because I think that was posted that he bullied them, and I think there was a bit of mixed reviews about how well he actually played that night. But there is definitely a player there. I'll give you that, boy.
defo. To be honest, we've probably criticised the likes of Eddie and stuff like that for shopping in the UK market, but currently, as we speak, the two. Now, I'm not saying how easy they would be to get, but Mark Gay, currently at the minute, definitely going to be going away for Palace. We should be throwing our hat in the ring for that.
Well, what's he getting priced up at? Is it like 25 million or something? Did I read that right?
Between 25 and 35, but I think you'll go to the highest bidder. So I think this is the time where you actually just swallow that pride a wee bit and say, "Come on, we'll bid 5 million more than Liverpool in order to try and get him."
I don't think
the
the
other
transfer fees is the thing. I think it's wages. I think if everyone said, "Oh, we'll offer you 25 million, or pay 5 million more than anyone else," but then the team, or say Man City or Liverpool, say, "All right, well, Newcastle will give you £150,000 a week, but we'll give you £350,000 a week," then it's a no-brainer,
Yep.
It depends, though. Remember, it's a World Cup coming up. He's want to make sure that he's going to be playing every week. Now, I can City's got a few issues at the minute with injuries, but is he going to play in front of Diaz? Is he going to play in front of Stones? If he goes to Liverpool, is he going to play in front of Kanate and Van Dijk?
I think he gets in above Kanate. I definitely think he gets in above Kanate.
That's one thing on my, obviously, I've got a wee list here. You got, obviously, Gay, that is contracts up at the end of the season. Kanate's contracts up at the end of the season as well.
Aye.
And I think he'd be a good option for us to maybe go for. See, if he does go to, if Gay goes to Liverpool, that might be an option.
I'd rather play Miley centre half than get Kanate.
I could see Kanate going abroad, probably going to be to Spain or something like that.
Yeah. I prefer me playing centre back.
I think the problem we've got, and we've said it many a times, is we're too far up north for these boys.
Yeah.
They all want to be in the city lights and the glamour down south.
Yep.
And again, wages. We've got that wage cap structure where it probably crucifies us into not attracting the right players or the players that we would love. So it's a bit frustrating.
I think the right players though.
Not always.
Previous model of stuff not
Bruno always.
Guimaraes. How many folks were following Bruno before he joined us?
Yeah.
Harvey Barnes.
I got another name
relegated.
as well for you.
Yeah, who we're talking?
I would chance my luck for Jared Bowen.
Aye.
Every day. He is sensational.
Yeah.
He's not. He wouldn't be put off by moving up north due to the fact that he'd already house hunted in Newcastle when he was moving for Hull. He thought he was definitely coming to us. He's heard the interview and said so himself, and then found out that he was going to West Ham. So the up north part wouldn't put him off at all.
Mm-hmm.
He would absolutely improve that right hand side. Unbelievable.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. I think,
and they're going down as well, so they'll need money.
And he's got a 50% wage reduction in his contract, I believe. So if they go down, then he's going to need to take a significant wage cut, and will he be content doing that in the Championship potentially?
No chance.
Make the cash in on him now.
I think his wife and his father-in-law would absolutely boot him up the A1 if he even suggested leaving.
Yeah.
I hope he's got a big shed to sleep in.
No, I think that's a great. That's a good shout, Blaine. I think he knows the Premier League. He's direct. He can score goals. He can service the ball into the box. Absolutely. And the right wing is something that we really need to address with. I'm actually quite disappointed with with how the progress with Alanya has been. I honestly thought he would have come in, maybe took a couple of games, 4 or 5 games to settle in. I don't think you can really blame the player. I think he's come in with with an idea in his head of what it's going to be like playing with Isak and his best pal Asula, and I don't think it's worked out from the way that he wanted to personally. So I think it's hit him quite hard. So, but at the end of the day, you're a professional footballer. You should need to, you should be able to step up to the game no matter what.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For me, when
you
you're
should be able to
coming, for me, when you're coming in from abroad, there's got
yeah,
to be also an allowance potentially for adaptation and adjustment to the
correct.
league. Just think you're a young 19, 20-year-old lad, you're whipped away from France, stuck
Yeah,
into Newcastle, which is a cracking city, tempted by all the big market, going out having a good time, and there's a lot of temptations and stuff like that. The language to adjust to, all that good
yeah,
stuff. When you're talking about Premier League player, particularly Alanga coming in on the back of the season that he had, he was so
yeah,
dynamic, he was so
yeah.
direct, he was quick, he was finishing, he was contributing with assists, and he's come in and he just looks like a total different player. Wissa
I
come
seen him
in
up.
and his injury
Oh,
potentially
sorry.
held him back, but he's kind of back now as well.
Yeah.
Do we think? Do we think we need additional cover for up top as well? Because we've got two very different players in Wissa and Voltemade.
But I seen Alanga when he just joined. When I seen him when they played against Celtic. Now he came on that pitch and he was like, although the game wasn't great overall, he came on that pitch and he was a million miles an hour. He was like quick. He was in about everything. He was creative, and he's just not. He's just been a non-starter, really, has he? There's been a couple of moments in a couple of games where you thought, "Oh, here we go. That's him. That's what he was like," and then nothing comes of it, and then you're kind of left like, "Oh, was that it?" So you're like, you get that high, and then mega deflated immediately afterwards because nothing's happened. So you're almost waiting for him to get going, and he's just really not done anything for it.
No.
You know, which again is that because of the circumstances surrounding his friends who are no longer at the club or who are not getting involved in the team? Is it something else? You know,
I mean,
I
if you
guess
look at the videos on social media, it looks like they're having a great time, right? Him in
Yeah.
the changing room and having a laugh and having a great time and stuff. So I don't think there's maybe an issue there of potentially having relationships and connecting at the club. But is he gelling kind of with the overall squad? I suppose is the question.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be it. It's the gelling with the squad. He's not settled into the squad. Then maybe it's a personal thing where, as well as the fact of he's been picked up as not our first choice right wing player target as well. Because you think about it, we went for Mbeumo to start with. There's a few other people that we all tried to go for with striker wise as well, and they're not the first choice. So you might think they're coming into the squad thinking, "Oh, well, I wasn't first choice. Do I really want to be here now that I've lost Isak?" Asula's kind of out the picture now as well. He was on the verge of going on the last day of the transfer window last year at the end of the season. So is he
I
thinking,
think
"Am
he's
I going
away
to be?"
this window as well. I
I think
think
he'll
the
be away
score
this
is
window.
away.
Yeah, I think Asula will be out this window as well. And so he's now thinking, I've now lost those connections that are going to help me settle. But yet, like we say, he's a professional footballer. He gets paid the money to perform. He's performed last season. So it's about time that if he was wanting to stay with the squad, to pull up your big boy socks and start playing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we don't know how long he's been holding this injury that he's got currently in his knee. But there was a few times where kind of been sitting deep, ball kind of got out to him, and he had room to just punt the ball down the wing and run past the defender. And I don't think there's many defenders in the league that are going to be catching him when he gets his legs going. But
No.
it was like he had the ball, he saw the space, and he took a half a big touch, went around to it, and then just kind of stopped and turned back and passed it. It was like he didn't have any confidence to knock it past the defender and go after it. So I don't know whether that was he's been nursing this knee injury for longer than everyone's kind of thought originally, or if he's just not confident enough to knock it past and run onto him.
Spoke a lot about kind of potential incomings and that there. We mentioned maybe the risk of Tino with Man City sniffing about. We've also covered maybe Lewis Miley. I think we're confident he'll stay. Are we at risk in losing anybody in this window coming up, do we think, other than the aforementioned?
I think Asulo's going to go. Definitely. It's more so the fact, who would you like to let go? Who would you accept to go? Because obviously, if Tino does go, then we need to replace right back. Would you then still keep Trips? Would you keep him? What about Ashby as well? Because he's still on the books. Do you want to keep that wage still there as well? Obviously, free up some space for some wages. That's another thing you want to go. Would you let them go? Would you let Joe Willett go? I think we've got quite a good cover in the centre midfield as well, but I don't think Willett's performing as when he did when he first came into the squad, when he first came to the team. Things like that.
I certainly let Harrison Ashby go. I remember him.
Yeah.
I think he scored against Rangers in the pre-season friendly, didn't he? He scored was it a looping header actually in the
Yeah, that's right.
the end went wild. But yeah, again, he's been out on loan. He's never been near enough the first team though, but he's not going to help resolve any FFP concerns, which we may or may not have. We're not the experts in that space. So Harrison Ashby, I probably let go. Joe Willock for me. You know, he had that purple patch when he come in. He scored all those goals. He was terrific. He set the record for the continuous goals and matches, and he was fabulous. And we needed it then as well. I think since then, though, he's been made of glass, right? He's probably spent more time injured than he has been. And for me, I think the big thing that he offers on the pitch is his ability to carry a ball. I didn't really see a goal threat from him. I didn't necessarily see a defensive threat from him. Blaine, would you be happy to see Joe Willock maybe moving on this time round?
I probably would. I think he had better than just the purple patch where he first come in on loan. I think Eddie's first full season when we qualified for Champions League, I remember, like, say, the goal against Chelsea where Miggy hit his purple patch and things like that as well. His assist for Isak's goal against Spurs. There was a period of time where he actually was that kind of great ball carrier. But I think his best days are behind him, or certainly his best days for Newcastle are behind him. I think he could go to the likes of probably likes of West Ham, maybe even a Brentford. I know Brentford's performing particularly well, but predominantly that kind of mid-table team, a Crystal Palace, a Fulham, and actually I think he could do probably quite well there. A strange one for me, though, just a wee thrown out there as well. I'd recall Matt Targett back. I'm not saying for a minute that he's good enough to be there and there about the first team as such, but you've looked at our injuries that we've been picking up defensively. If we've got Fabian Schär out injured in regards to for the season, Dan Burn, Chow and Botman's going to have to be the three centre-backs. If something happens to Lewis Hall, you're not wanting to be having your three centre-backs there and thereabout. No. So I think Targett as that backup would be absolutely fine. I'd get rid of Ashby, as you've said, because I actually think we've got the young guy, Leo. Is it Leo Sahar? Leo Sahar?
Sahar.
So I think he's got big reviews for the under-21, so he might be the one to actually step up in that aspect of it. But I think Asua and Willock goes January. I think we keep Tino to the summer. I don't think he's silly enough to move in January and potentially give away his World Cup place, whereas he sees it out with us until the summer, and then I think he definitely goes.
That's why I'm going to try and look at players where we think, right, if a serious offer came in for one that's going to command a good sized fee, I reckon Gordon might be in trouble. I mean, that's 30 odd games now without a goal from open play. And penalties, fair enough. Champions League, he's playing really well in the Champions League, but he just, I don't know what it is, but he just seems to be off the boil at the minute, has been for a good while as well. And he's young enough, contract's good enough that we would be able to command a good fee, and there would be enough interest from enough clubs that I reckon would probably sniff around him as well. Or we're going to have to get Jack Grealish to call him an unsafe return like he did with Miggy Almiron.
Yeah.
So on Gordon, I have a kind of a bit of a theory. So Liverpool were sniffing about Gordon previously, right? And folks said his head was turned. The move kind of didn't go through. Then he went on to have a professional season with us with his head not turned. Then Liverpool comes sniffing about for Isak. Isak throws his toys out the pram, refuses to train, and then gets his move through. Do we think there's maybe potentially some disheartenment, some discontentment from Gordon about how he never got his move and had acted professionally throughout it, and then seen Isak then reacting as poorly as he did, and then getting to see the move through?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's not too much of a big shout to say it would be unreasonable. I think, but then you don't really know what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, was he promised a move at a later date, or is he just Liverpool said no? This is my one and only time of coming in for him, and when they came in for Isaac, they just had no interest in him. But I mean, he needs to try and get his game together because he's got a World Cup coming up.
Well, if MD at Newcastle should have learnt one thing by now, right, that it's didn't get things verbally. Let's make sure that things are written in contract, and that way we can avoid folks any misrepresentations or any misconceptions of what was said. He said, she said, and what actually happened. Lads, great show. I think a perfect point to give a shout out to our sponsor of the podcast,
Fleming and Gibson, Plumbing and Heating. Your trusted experts for plumbing, heating, electrical and renewable energy solutions. From emergency repairs to full boiler installations, their accredited team delivers quality workmanship that you can rely on. They also offer complete bathroom design and installation from their dedicated showroom. For reliable service, modern renewables and work done right first time, choose Fleming and Gibson, accredited, compliant and trusted.
welcome back, Mags. Blaine, it's time for fantasy football.
The Fantasy Football Breakdown with Blaine.
So, what we're thinking of fantasy football, lads? How are you getting on?
Less said about that, the better for me.
I'm mega frustrated, and I'm not playing the little violin. But the week we were in Dunfermline, I didn't touch my team because I was preoccupied, unfortunately, and I had a ranked team out, and that impeded me, unfortunately, ability to stop Rob Maltman taking the Manager of the Month trophy. Since then, I've kind of not been in the huff, but I just kind of just wasn't as on it as much, and I neglected my team. I neglected my team with an injured Declan Rice in it, who then went on to score 2 rakers of finishes from a striker position and getting his movement in the position and scooped 17 points. So although I've not necessarily done the team, I've still managed to scrape somewhere in the region of about 40, 45 points the last 2 weeks as well. You could be assured though I'll be using my free hit at the next immediate option, and I'll be bringing in Thiago back in up front because he seems to be scoring as well at the minute, doesn't he?
Aye, that's it. So there's a few players who are absolutely hot at the moment. And I was going to say, so if anybody's wanting some tips, these are the players to kind of look out for. And then you would look at the fantasy league and see that I'm sitting 23rd at the minute and decide that there's no point in getting any tips to me in any way, shape or form.
These tips are sponsored by somebody else.
Aye, that's it. So some of the guys who are flying at the moment, it's Thiago for Brentford. Seems to can't stop scoring at the moment. I think it's mad that he's the Brazilian with the most goals scored in a single season. When you think about some of the Brazilians that we've actually had in the Premier League over the years, I think that's absolutely incredible.
That's mad.
Closely followed by Bruno G. He seems to be scoring quite a few, assisting and scoring in some game weeks.
My captain for the last 2 weeks.
I honestly, Bruno's had, I think he's had like between 10 and 12 the last 2 weeks, so he's a good one to have. Harry Wilson for Fulham.
Sat on that bench the last 2 weeks.
He's turned into a prime Ronaldinho in the last 6 weeks. It's absolutely incredible. And it's hard to talk about fantasy if Gabriel for Arsenal. Like, he scores as many goals as a striker and then keeps clean sheets at the same time. He's an absolute banker to have in any team whatsoever at all. But while we're talking about who's on top form, we have got a few of our own in the NUSS Fantasy League itself. So Rob Tantum is currently top at the minute. I've actually just called him by his name because if anybody's in the league and seen the team name, you'll understand why. It's like WDWLWA, and it was just chaos.
It's like a Welsh street sign or something like that,
Aye. It reminded me when we were under Pardew, and it says come out with that big banner, and it was like the LD LLLL. That's like what his team name is. Close on his heels though are Hulkamania for life, and we are Brucefield. So that is our current top three in the NUSS, which I don't think it won't include tonight's points, which will still obviously be the Arsenal-Liverpool game to go on. So everything's
Which
still
is
subject to
currently
change.
0-0 at the minute, so Gabriel have a good clean sheet in there. Van Dijk, any Van Dijk owners will have that as well.
Ah, sweet. Wooden Spoons currently going to Biker Grovers. So they are currently bottom of the league.
Russell will be absolutely gutted. I know he's worked so hard lately to get himself off of the bottom, and I'm not
is
sure
he?
how he's managed to get himself back down there.
Surely, as much as we'll be praising whoever wins it overall, if you finish bottom, you will be getting hammered on this podcast. So that's it's worth doing your transfers and your changes just for that not to happen.
Thank God I'm no part of it then.
You will be next year, Phil.
Oh, is it contractually obliged? I've got to be in the fantasy football league. All right.
Did you not see that in the small print on the contract? No.
That'll be my gambling habit out the window then.
It's a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Just on something that Taylor actually touched on for anybody who is playing fantasy but not aware, for game week 20, which was last week, you now get a new wild card and a new free hit as well. Most people, or some people, like to wait until the end of the January transfer window. I've used mine today. Like, my team is atrocious, so I couldn't pick my nose. So
Like an
I've
excited
used
puppy.
wild card. Aye. That's it. And just the last wee bit regarding it is, remember, there is no game this week due to FA Cup, so transfers have to be in for next weekend, which will be Saturday 17th, in before 11.
Fabulous. Thanks as always, Blaine, for the fantasy football update. Moving on to our last segment this week is with Will. Will, I want to ask you about Harvey Barnes for Scotland. I've seen it all over Facebook. Is he Steve Clark's man, yay or nay? Is he on that plane, yay or nay? And if you're one of the players in that team, how do you feel if he does make it on that plane?
For me, I've been championing the yay camp. It's a big yay for me. I think, you know what? I have this thing, right, where the England team has got enough, right? So in Scotland, we need to sort of immigrate some north of the border to sort of make our team viable, shall we say, for the World Cup. I think, where does he fit in? It's a difficult one. On that left side, you've got Robertson and you've got Tierney, who are doing all right. On the right, you've got Ben Doak. So you kind of, where does he fit at the same time of your sort of regular starters? But for me, I think he has to be in the plane, and I think we need someone who's a proven goal scorer in that attacking midfield presence. I don't think he sits in the wing for Scotland. I think he's more of an attacking midfield presence for me, and I think he's done more than deserve it. I think he'll get more game time and more recognition, and let's be honest, he'll be happier in Scotland. Sorry, Marcus. But he will. You know, we have several English-speaking players now in the Scotland team, so one more is not going to make any difference for me, I think.
It's an interesting point you made there, Will, about we need some players kind of from north of the border. When you think back to the kind of great Scotland teams we've had before, many of those players were purchased by teams north of the border because we had such a great team back then. Have we still got a great team? Do we need Harvey Barnes in there, Blaine? Do we need him as a striker, given that his ability to clearly score goals for Newcastle? When he was on fire with Leicester, he was playing through the middle, scoring. Would he sit up top for us, Blaine, do you think?
First point, absolutely get him on the plane. We absolutely need him 100%. We have to. I absolutely understand the argument of the guys that got us there deserve the opportunity. But let's be history makers. Let's be the first Scotland team to get out of the group. And in order to do that, you need to score goals, and Harvey Barnes scores goals. That is all we need in regards to that. But he does play. I think he actually does play to the left of the front three. And actually, if you think about what Scotland potentially have, a midfield three, John McGinn, Lewis Ferguson, Scott McTominay, and the three in front of them, Ben Doak on the right, Harvey Barnes on the left.
Terrifying.
That is as good as my generation of Scotland's probably ever been as such. We just need to obviously find out that Lewis Miley's got a Scottish granny and then he could play. And we'll probably go and win the World Cup.
Greg, if you're Steve Clarke, are you stamping Harvey Barnes' passport for the World Cup?
Stamping it. I'm not just stamping it. I'm actually putting him in the car in the boot and taking him with me in the boot. I mean, I would make sure that he is cuffed, tied, dragged, and then sailed across and just chucked into America. I'll tell you that for a fact now. I'm with Blaine 100%. That lineup, he said, the three sitting with McTominay pushing forwards and then having Barnes on the left, where he is best at, attacking left. Doak on the right, and I would even have Lyndon Dykes up front because I think Dykes gives you a better option going forward than Shea Adams does. Dykes is a chaser, he's a worker, he's a grafter, and if you've got somebody with Dykes with a bit of pace to go in behind and Harvey Barnes to go in behind with him and pass the ball through, and then also Doak as well, all three have got pace up front, and if you've got pace, I think pace wins games for you. Absolutely, and yeah, I would have him within a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Marcus, Harvey Barnes scores goals, pass it on. What is the Geordie contingent's thoughts on Harvey Barnes pulling on a Scotland jersey at the World Cup?
I don't think many people would have any arguments against it. I think realistically he's not going to get a sniff of being towards the England team. A guy needs to be playing international football. It's only right. The guy's putting in a shift in a Newcastle shirt. He's proven his qualities. Yeah, I don't think anyone would have any arguments against it.
See a wee thing as well, just to touch on, right, is there's a lot of Newcastle fans out there thinking that Eddie Howe always picks his favourites, and that's why Gordon always plays over Harvey Barnes. Well, I'm kind of tied because for the Scotland idea of it, keep doing that, Eddie, because if Gordon keeps getting picked over Barnes, then there's absolutely no way that Barnes gets picked for England, so that's good for Scotland's aspect of it. So, but absolutely, Harvey Barnes has to be on the plane. I'd even let him drive it if he wanted to, just to make sure he was there.
Yeah. Well, I said, I
Get
think
Matt
it's
Ritchie in to drive the bus as well.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult for the lads in the Scotland team, for someone who's not participated in the fact to get help, get them where they've got and getting them to the World Cup. But I think deep down, even they would be thankful or grateful for that addition to the team, that extra talent. Because let's be honest, like you said, Blaine, he can score goals. You stick him in that forward position and give him pace along with the other lads. Like I said, I can't see any negatives to it. You know, I can't see why it wouldn't happen. I have a horrible feeling it's not going to happen, although the media is sort of banging that drum constantly for it. So Steve Clarke surely needs to take notice for it. Unless, of course, Steve Clarke lands himself at Aberdeen job. But I can't, to be fair, I couldn't see that happening either, to be honest, because why would you give up that opportunity of going to a World Cup and taking your national team?
Makes no sense to give that up.
Zero chance.
I'm just going to probably finally say that for me, I think ahead of the Euros, we needed a dynamic player to take with us, and Ben Doak was that player and he got injured. this is potentially his time, but I think the more of those dynamic players and those game-changing players you've got on your team, then absolutely you've got a better chance of winning a game. And Harvey Barnes is certainly a dynamic, game-changing type of player. He showed that through Leicester. It took him a bit of time to to get in and find his place. He's been playing out on the left, he's been playing out on the right, he played through the middle and stuff as well. I think he's probably comfortable where he is now, that when he's on that pitch, as soon as he gets a chance in and about that box, he's going to hit it and hope, and hopefully it's going to end up in the back of the net. So for me, I'd also put Harvey Barnes on the plane. My only concern would just to be about how you integrate him into the squad prior to that and kind of keep that harmony so it doesn't disgruntle anybody prior to the World Cup.
Absolutely.
Lads, that brings us to the end of our very first episode at NUSS About That. Massive thank you, Blaine, Marcus, Greg, Will. We've got plenty coming up throughout the transfer window, plenty of rumours. We may even have a special guest popping up and appearing during the transfer window on one of our shows as well, so stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for supporting the group, thanks for supporting the podcast, thanks for supporting the tune, and away the lads and lasses.
Away the lads.
Away, lads.
All right.